The drama of the British royal family doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, is set to release on Tuesday. Because of pre-orders, it's already #1 on Amazon UK's best-selling book list. This despite the fact that it was mistakenly released early in Spain. The explosive revelations are about everything ranging from sex, drugs, shooting the Taliban, and of course, the incessant family drama. The British royal family has maintained a studied silence about the memoir, despite the fact that in the book, Harry accuses his elder brother William of grabbing his collar, yanking off his necklace, and knocking him to the floor during an argument about Meghan Markle, the former's wife. Or that the brothers begged the now King Charles not to marry Camilla after Diana had died. The royal heir is reportedly furious, but a friend claims he's not responding for the good of his family and the country. Harry isn't so keen on silence, though. In fact, he's scheduled to appear on at least 3 interviews in the coming week. Now, scandals make for good entertainment, of course, and a royal scandal is bound to draw eyeballs. Harry and Meghan's recent Netflix series got record viewership after all, and back in the 1990s, Charles's affair with Camilla and Diana's death had led to a media storm. The book will most likely sell like hotcakes, and the proceeds will help fund Harry and Meghan's luxurious lives in the US. But again, it begs the question, what is the monarchy good for besides this entertainment? It's 2023. Their lives are a family drama about a household that profited from slavery and colonization. Former colonies may find some small justice in their erstwhile oppressors falling apart. But it hardly seems fair that the British taxpayer should support the family's luxurious lifestyle. The family is probably more than capable of supporting itself by just making a reality TV show. And that way, taxes would get saved and we would get more guilty pleasure television. It's a way that both the British taxpayers and former colonies benefit from this truly royal family feud. For more on this, we're now joined by Cameron Walker, a royal reporter in the UK who joins us live from London. Cameron Walker, welcome to WION. Now, to call this memoir explosive would be the understatement of the year. From revealing when and how he lost his virginity to a physical assault on him by his own brother, the 2 brothers begging Charles not to marry Camilla, the list of Harry's revelations goes on and on. Many royal watchers had thought with the Harry and Meghan Netflix series, they had seen it all. How wrong they were. How many copies do you think this book is likely to sell? And which revelation is the most gobsmacking for you?
Well, the publishers will certainly hope that millions of copies are going to be sold around the world. It's being published in 16 different languages. As you mentioned, it's already top of the Amazon bestseller list, even though it's not being released in the UK until Tuesday. But due to one leak from the Guardian newspaper here in the UK, and as you mentioned, the mistaken selling early in Spain of Harry's memoir, we now have a pretty good idea of what's in it. And you're right, there's been several explosive claims within that interview. Some are, quite frankly, quite difficult to read. Some are incredibly personal, incredibly intimate. Many people are making the argument, particularly with the how he lost his virginity story and a certain problem he had with a part of his body with frostbite is certainly vulgar. The most shocking claim for me, I think, is, and perhaps many people across the UK are seeing this as a security issue, is the fact he said he killed 25 Taliban fighters when he was serving his second tour of Afghanistan as a British soldier. The reason being is I have spoken to a number of former army personnel, and one major told me that he has betrayed the British Army by putting a number on the number of kills and referring to them as chess pieces on a chessboard. A senior Taliban leader has already come out and said that they were not chess pieces, they were human beings that Prince Harry has claimed to have killed. And it creates a security concern, many are arguing, because perhaps a target is now more on his back and more on his back with his Invictus Games, which are being held in Düsseldorf in Germany in September, which involves a number of ex-military personnel.
You're quite right. The revelations are embarrassing, damaging, and he may have created a security threat for himself. But what do you make of the deafening silence of the royal family? How damaging are these revelations likely to be for Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace? Also, if I may ask you, is a reconciliation now between the two brothers almost an impossibility?
Yeah, Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace are not commenting. They haven't commented on any of the revelations we've seen so far from this book, and indeed the Netflix series, which came out in December. They're very much keeping with the late Queen's never complain, never explain motto. I think it appears that that motto is certainly working in this situation, or at least it is in the UK, because the latest YouGov poll here in the United Kingdom, which was published just before the Netflix series came out, showed that Harry and Meghan remain the least popular royals among the British public, apart from Prince Andrew. The rest of the senior working royals very much remain on top, and that is despite all of the accusations that Prince Harry is airing in public. I think perhaps the danger is, with the fact that they're not commenting, is we are only getting one side of the story, and we're getting Prince Harry's version of the truth. And when it comes to young people versus old people, the younger demographics very much seems to be on the side of Harry and Meghan, whereas middle-aged and older people are on the side of the institution of the British royal family. Prince William has told friends who have been reported in the Sunday Times in the UK here today that William is being quiet and not saying anything for the sake of the monarchy and the sake of his country. He's keeping a dignified silence so they can focus on the work of the royal family, their charity work. Prince William's very into conservation and mental health and all of that. He doesn't want Prince Harry's book or his distractions to be a distraction to the royal family. In terms of reconciliation, I don't see one happening anytime soon, despite what Prince Harry says he wants during the ITV interview that's airing tonight on ITV in the UK. Perhaps King Charles even will want one before the coronation, but as it stands, it seems very unlikely that any reconciliation is going to be happening soon.
Never complain, never explain. That mantra seems to be serving the British royals well, you believe. Cameron Walker, taking off from what you said, many feel the British public are growing increasingly weary and annoyed with Harry and Meghan, and the scandals may only be generating sympathy for the royal family in Britain. Also, for people who claim they want their privacy more than anything else, Harry and Meghan have been acting quite to the contrary. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, the privacy argument, because when Harry and Meghan stepped back as senior working members of the royal family back in 2020, one of the reasons for that is that they wanted more privacy. What we've found since then is they didn't want privacy from the British media. It seems to suggest that they wanted control of the narrative by putting their side of the story out there via books, via Spotify podcasts, via Netflix documentary series. One of the reasons, perhaps, in defense of Prince Harry, that he is effectively selling himself to the media, is that he makes the argument that he now has to pay for his own security. He no longer gets British taxpayer-funded Metropolitan Police security, as working members of the royal family do. So that is, for his reason, that he wants to get all this money from the media appearances to pay for his own police security. But equally, he does live in a $11 million mansion in Montecito, California, with his family, and in a cost of living crisis, which the UK is seeing at the moment, where certain households are having to choose between putting food on the table and heating their homes. It's very cold in the UK here at the moment because it is winter. It's not going down too well with the British public. They are increasingly not having sympathy with Prince Harry.
All right, very quickly before we let you go, Cameron Walker, do you believe Harry is likely to be invited to Charles' coronation? And if he is he likely to show up?
From my understanding, he has been invited to the coronation. He's not going to have as much as any constitutional role within that coronation. That will very much be down to the king and the heir to the throne, Prince William. Whether or not he turns up, in Prince Harry's words, I don't know. He says he doesn't know if he's going to turn up to the coronation because he was asked that in one of those interviews that's going to be airing over the next day or so. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
All right. Well, clearly, no end in sight to this family drama, one that all of us are going to track closely, I guess. Cameron Walker, thank you so much for speaking to WION.
Thank you.